There are 9 simple words you say every single day, and they're quietly destroying your willpower without you even realizing it. Marcus Aurelius discovered over 1800 years ago that our internal language determines our external reality, and he developed a specific method to armor your mind against these verbal traps that sabotage our discipline. What strikes me most is how these seemingly harmless words are the real culprits behind why you give up on your goals, procrastinate, and feel mentally weak. But when you learn to identify and replace them using Stoic wisdom, your willpower becomes virtually unbreakable within days. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and comment where in the world you're watching from, because now I'm going to tell you everything. Have you ever asked yourself why you sometimes feel tired or unmotivated for no clear reason? Most people go through their days talking to themselves in quiet ways. You do it. Everyone does. You speak out loud when talking to others, and you also speak inside your mind. You might think these little words do not make a difference, but they do. The words you use every day have power. Every word leaves a mark on your thoughts and your feelings. Think about the last time you said, "I can't do this," or maybe later, or even, "I should really try." These words sound so small and simple, you do not even notice them. But these words stay with you. With every word like this, your mind listens. Your mind believes what you tell it, whether you notice or not. Each of these words shapes the way you act and changes how you see the world. If you wake up in the morning and say to yourself, "Today will be hard," that sentence enters your mind. You carry it with you. It makes simple things feel bigger. The day feels heavier. Your thinking becomes a little less hopeful, even if nothing bad happens. The simple act of speaking weak words makes you feel different inside. Your daily words are not just sounds, they are signals. When you speak them, you send a message to your own mind about who you are and what you are able to do. If, for example, you spend much of your day saying, "I'll do that later," your mind learns that you prefer waiting. You might start to feel that you never finish things. This simple pattern repeats every day. Soon it is hard to remember when you last felt confident or quick to act. Why does this happen? It is because your mind is always learning from your words. It does not judge you. It repeats what you give it. If you feed yourself words that are soft and filled with doubt, your mind becomes filled with doubt. If you use strong words that show clear decisions, your mind becomes stronger. The change happens slowly, but it adds up with each day. You might believe that your actions come from your feelings. Maybe you think that when you feel strong, you act strong. But there is another truth. Sometimes the words you use come before the feelings. You can begin to feel tired or weak just because your words were tired or weak first. Words have that kind of silent power. Picture yourself at work or at school. Maybe you face a task that looks hard. You look at it and think, "I can't do this," or "This is too much for me." At that moment, your mind settles into these words. Your feelings change. You feel stuck. It becomes much harder to try, even if you have the skills you need. The words created a wall you now have to climb over. There are words that do not help you. Words like maybe, can't, should, and later do not give you extra hope. They make your world feel more closed. Maybe leaves things unfinished. Can't ends possibilities before you start. Should feels like a rule that weighs you down. Later gives a reason to wait and never finish. These words are weak words. They do not push you forward. The change your words create is not always fast. It might take weeks, months, or many years. But as you repeat weak words each day, your attitude grows weaker. Big changes in your life can start with something very small, a single word said in your head many times a day. You do not see this at first, but it builds up over time. Have you ever noticed, for example, that some people always seem ready to try anything? They say, "Yes, I'll do it," even when this is difficult. Over time, these people act brave and they get more done. This is not luck. It comes from the words they use. Their words are clear. They say what they mean with confidence. Their brains learn confidence from these words. Other people who use weak words begin to see the world as full of things they can't do or things they will do one day. Each time you put off a task by saying later, your mind learns to wait. Each time you say maybe, your mind becomes more unsure. With each day, these words dig small holes in your confidence and in your willingness to act. You begin to expect less from yourself without noticing it. Think about a small child. When a child learns to walk, they fall many times. If a child said to themselves, "I can't," they might stop trying. But children do not know those words at first. They keep trying even when it is hard, because their minds are open and full of possibility. As we get older, we start to use more words. Sometimes we collect too many words that hold us back. The pattern is strong. Your words create your thoughts create your feelings lead to your actions. If you change your words, you start to change everything else. But you need to see the pattern before you can change it. You might not remember when you started using weak words. You may have learned them from your parents, your teachers, or your friends. You may have used these words for many years. This is very common. Most people use words like maybe or can't without knowing. It feels normal. It feels safe. But safety is not the goal. Growth is the goal. When you use words without thinking, you give up power. You give your mind away to old habits. Instead, if you choose your words on purpose, you get that power back. You gain control over your actions. You start to do more things. You start to feel stronger. There is hope. The process works both ways. If weak words can make you weaker, strong words can make you stronger. Words like I will, I can, and now are simple, but they are powerful. Every time you use strong words, you feed strength to your mind. You teach yourself that you can act, even when things are hard. Let us look at an example. When you say, I should exercise, it feels heavy. It sounds like a duty, not a choice. Your mind does not enjoy duties. You might wait for motivation that never comes. But if you say, I want to exercise, you give your mind a reason to act. Want is a strong word. It creates energy, not heaviness. It changes the feeling about the task. Another example is with the word can't. When you say, I can't do this, your mind stops looking for answers. It shuts the door. But if you say, I will try, you give your mind a chance to search for ways to succeed. You practice looking for solutions. It is a small change, but the results grow over time. Think about the word maybe. Maybe is not a decision word. It is a word for waiting. If you want to build confidence, you need to use clear words. I will do it is clear. It pushes you to action. Each time you choose a clear word, you help your mind take a step forward. You do not have to be perfect. Everyone uses weak words sometimes. What matters is that you notice the words you use. Notice which ones help you and which ones hold you back. When you become aware, you can decide to keep a word or change it. This is the start of building a stronger mind. Building this awareness is like turning the light on in a dark room. When you see what has been hidden, you have the choice to clean and to organize. You cannot change what you do not see. But once you see the pattern, you are free to make new choices. You might ask, how do I start? The answer is simple. Start by listening. For one day, pay attention to the words you say to yourself, especially when you face something difficult or new. Do you say can't, maybe, should, or later? Do you feel more tired after using these words? Write them down if you want. You may be surprised at how often these words appear. Most people do not notice them, as if they are part of the air. But once you become aware, you can decide to choose your words. You do not have to let habits decide for you. After you notice your weak words, you can practice changing them to stronger words. When you catch yourself saying, maybe, Say, I will, instead. Change should into I want to, want. Switch can't to I will try. Instead of saying later, try saying now. You may not always feel ready or honest when you first use stronger words. That is normal. New habits take time to feel real, but as you use strong words, even if you do not fully believe them, your mind starts to grow more confident. With time, you believe your new words more. Some people worry that using strong words will make them act arrogant or foolish. This is not true. Using strong words is not about pretending. It is about giving yourself a chance. It is about opening doors, not closing them. It is about trusting that you can improve little by little. Your life is made up of small moments, one after another. Each of these moments is shaped by the words you use. Imagine that every moment is like a small stone. You build a path to your future with these stones. If you pick weak words, your path looks weak. If you pick strong, clear words, your path becomes steady. Step by step, you shape where you are going. If you want to start feeling stronger, start with your words. Notice the words you use each day and decide which ones you want to keep. Make small changes. Do not rush. Simple steps build real change. You do not need to change everything at once. Each time you choose a stronger word, you add a new stone to your path. Change is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels much easier to go back to old habits. Old habits feel safe. But if you stay in them, nothing new can grow. When you try new words, new feelings and actions become possible. You surprise yourself. You find more energy than you thought you had. At the end of each day, check how you feel. If you feel tired and unmotivated, think back to the words you used. If you feel calm and confident, notice the words again. See the pattern. Over time, the pattern becomes clear. Words are not just things you say. Words are instructions you give to your mind. The more you practice using strong words, the easier it gets. You do not need to force yourself. Just notice and choose. With practice, you will use strong words more often. You will start feeling stronger and more able to do the things you want to do. In this way, you bring back the power that belongs to you. You become someone who acts instead of someone who doubts. You create a life where you finish tasks, keep promises to yourself, and trust yourself more. Every strong word makes a difference. Think about this as you go through your day. Words are your tools. Use them with care and with purpose. Little by little, you will notice the change. Your actions get easier. Your mind feels lighter. You face each day with more hope. This is the hidden power of daily words. Each day you decide how you talk to yourself. Maybe you do not notice these choices, but they are always there. When you open your eyes in the morning, you already begin to use certain words in your thoughts, and you keep using words as the hours go by. Many words you choose are small, familiar, and easy to ignore. Simple words often live quietly in your mind, repeating over and over. Even though they are small, they have a strong effect on what you do, how you feel, and what actions you take. Some of these words are especially common, and they come up again and again. Maybe, can't, should, and later. You might wonder why these little words matter. They seem harmless. You use them in your daily routines. Other people use them all the time too. You hear your friends say them. Your family says them. Often you do not question these words at all. They become part of your habits. They are in your conversations, in your quiet thoughts, and in what you write or message. These words become part of your life, even if you never plan it. Start by looking at one word. Maybe. This word is not direct. It does not say yes and it does not say no. It leaves a space open. When you use maybe, you are not making a choice. For example, someone might ask you for help and you answer, maybe I will. You think about doing something difficult and you tell yourself, maybe I can. But maybe does not lead you anywhere. It leaves you waiting. It leaves questions in your mind. When you say maybe, your mind learns to wait. It learns to avoid making a choice. Over time, this habit grows. You use maybe when you do not want to face a choice. Even simple things can feel hard just because your words are never direct. A person who uses maybe many times each day becomes very good at waiting, but not so good at acting. The power to decide becomes small and quiet. Now look at another word, can't. This word is very strong, but not in a good way. When you say, I can't, you are closing the door before you even try. It is a message to your mind that says you will not do something or you are not able to do it. You might say, I can't get up early. You might think I can't finish my work. You hear other people say, I can't help right now, or I can't learn that. Each time you use this word, you tell your mind to stop before it starts. I can't is different from maybe. Maybe is not a choice. I can't is a clear decision, but it is a negative one. I can't makes your mind stop trying. If you use this word often, soon you do not even think about what you might be able to do if you tried. Your actions become less. Your hopes become small. People use can't for many reasons. Sometimes you use it because you feel tired or worried. Sometimes you use it because you are afraid to fail or to make mistakes. Other times you use it to avoid doing something difficult or uncomfortable. The habit takes hold, and you stop asking yourself if you could learn or improve. You accept can't as the truth even before you try. Another common word is should. At first, this word seems useful. It looks like you want to do something good. But should is not a word of desire. It is a word of pressure. You say, I should wake up earlier. You think I should exercise. You tell yourself, I should read more, or I should be kinder. These are not things you want to do for joy or excitement. They feel like rules. They feel heavy. You feel that someone else, some voice in your head or some rule in society, is telling you what you should do. When you say should, the task feels like a duty. It is not your choice, but something you do because you feel forced. The feeling of pressure becomes bigger. You do not want to do things that are forced. Your mind tries to avoid these tasks because they do not feel good and do not feel free. Over time, should makes your list of tasks longer, but it does not make you finish them. It only makes you feel guilty for not doing enough. Then there is the word later. You say this word when you want to move something into the future. You say, I will do it later, or I can clean later. You think I will call them later, or I will finish this later. But later is not now. It is a word that allows you to wait. When you use later, you give yourself time, but you also teach your mind to not act right away. The more you use later, the more you get used to waiting. Soon, later becomes tomorrow, next week, next month, or never. Later is a word you use to escape. You use it to make yourself feel better when you do not want to do something right now. It gives comfort in the short term, but over time, it creates a habit of waiting and not finishing things. You might find that your days get filled with all the things you said you would do later, but the list never gets smaller. All of these words sound simple. Each is only a few letters, but together they make a big effect. They change how you talk to yourself each day. They change how you act. They create habits inside you that are hard to break. It is not just that you say maybe, can't, should, or later one time. The problem is that you use them again and again every day for many days, for many years. If you keep using weak words, your mind learns these patterns. You begin to feel less sure about yourself. You trust yourself less. You expect less from your life. You start to miss chances, not because they are gone, but because your own words tell you to not act. You do not notice this at first. It feels like a normal part of life. But these quiet words shape your actions from inside. The mind is quiet, but it never stops listening. Every time you use one of these words, the mind takes a note. If you say maybe 100 times in a month, your mind hears 100 moments of doubt. If you say I can't 20 times each week, the mind believes you are not able to do 20 things. If you think should every night, you go to sleep with ideas of guilt and pressure. If you say later each morning, by the end of the year, nothing feels urgent or important. Most people do not see how big the effect is. You do not notice the change from one day to the next, but it is there. Your words become habits. Habits shape your days. Days become years. Your life begins to look less free, less finished, and less joyful, only because of these small words. Weak words feel harmless because everyone uses them. They are part of how people talk in families, schools, and jobs. You learn them from others without meaning to. The first time you say can't, it is just a word. But if you say it again and again, it digs a path in your mind. That path grows deeper and wider until you do not think about it anymore. You just walk the same path without seeing the other ways you could go. It is important to understand that these words are not the truth about you. They are learned habits. You were not born saying maybe, can't, should, or later. You learned them as you grew up, and you used them because others used them around you. They became normal. But just because something is normal does not mean it is good for you. When you look at your daily life, you can see how many areas are touched by these words. At work, you might say, maybe I will finish this today, or I can't handle so much at once. With your friends or family, you might tell them, I should see you more, or let's meet later. To yourself, you might think, I should try harder, but nothing changes. In your free time, you say, maybe I will start that project later. Each area of your life becomes quieter, slower, and weaker because of these habits. This effect does not stop with you. Your words spread to others. When you use weak words with your children, your friends, or your team at work, they learn the same habits. Weak words are like invisible lessons. You do not notice when you teach them, and others may not notice when they learn them. But each weak word shapes more than just your own mind. It shapes every person who hears and copies you. If weak words are so common, why do people use them so much? There are many reasons. Sometimes you are afraid to make mistakes. Sometimes you do not want to disappoint others or yourself. Sometimes you feel tired and want an easy way out. Sometimes you are just used to speaking this way and it never crosses your mind to change. Weak words feel safe, but they are not free. These words do not protect you from problems. They only stop you from growing. They keep you from seeing how much you are able to do. They hide your real strengths. Each time you use a weak word, you lower your own limits. You believe in yourself less. You make your future smaller than it can be. There is another reason why weak words feel so easy to use. You see them everywhere. You hear them in movies and television. You read them in books and on the internet. You learn to think that this is just how people talk, but you do not have to use them. You can choose other words. The choice is yours, even if it is hard at first to notice and change. The first step is to listen closely to the words you use. Notice when you say maybe, can't, should, and later. Pay attention to how these words make you feel. Are you hopeful or are you tired? Do you feel strong or do you feel pressure and worry? Do you move forward or do you wait and avoid? Notice the patterns in your words. Notice how often they appear. Keep a record if you want. Write down the weak words you use for one day. You might see patterns that surprise you. Maybe you say later every time you see a task you do not like. Maybe you say should at the end of every day, but nothing changes the next day. Maybe you tell yourself I can't as soon as something gets difficult. These patterns are important because they are a map of your habits. When you see your words clearly, you begin to understand why you act the way you do. You see how your choices lead to waiting, avoiding, and feeling tired. You see how small words have a bigger effect than you knew. When you become aware, you begin to ask new questions. What happens if you stop using weak words? What if, instead of maybe, you say yes or no? Instead of I can't, you say I will try. Instead of should, you say I choose to. Instead of later, you say now. These small changes can feel strange at first, but they are the first steps to building new habits. Changing words is not about being perfect. It is normal to slip and use old words sometimes. But each time you notice, you get a chance to decide again. You can use your words with care. You can make your mind stronger little by little. As you keep practicing, you notice that your feelings and actions begin to shift. You finish more tasks because you say now instead of later. You feel curious and open because you say, I will try, instead of, I can't. Your self-respect grows because your words are honest and clear. You may also notice changes in how you talk to others. Your words become more direct and supportive. You help others feel strong with your words. You stop offering weak words as excuses. The people around you begin to change too. They see your clear and strong words, and they use them more. You do not have to make giant changes in one day. Each small word you change gives you more control. Each honest choice helps make your habits stronger. With practice, you use fewer weak words and more strong ones. Your life becomes more active and more open. When you use strong words, your actions and your mind begin to match. You do what you say. You choose and finish tasks. You set a better example for the people in your life. Your days become more full with more energy and more purpose. All these changes begin with simple words. Each word is a small tool you can use to make a difference. Weak words make your habits smaller. Strong words make your actions bigger. Your power begins in these daily choices. Keep noticing your words. Learn the habits you want to keep and the habits you want to leave behind. Your mind is always listening. Your life is shaped by every choice, every word, every day. Every moment your mind listens to the words you use. You speak to yourself about small things and big things. You give your mind instructions even when you do not mean to. When you say, I can't do this, or maybe tomorrow, your mind hears those words. Your mind does not argue or doubt, it just accepts what you say. It starts to believe these simple words. Maybe yesterday you faced a problem. You told yourself, I can't do this. You felt a little weaker. Your mind accepted those words as true. Today, when you see a new problem, you remember that old feeling. You again feel that you cannot do it. This is not just a feeling from nowhere. This is your brain following the lesson it learned from your words. Every time you use weak words, it is like sending a message to your mind. The message says, I am not able, I am not sure, or I do not want to act now. These messages do not make you feel strong. Your brain learns from these messages. When you keep using words like maybe, can't, should, and later, your brain slowly starts to change. It listens again and again. It starts to build a habit of believing these words. You might wonder how this happens. Science shows that your brain is always learning, even when you are not trying to learn. When you do something many times, your brain creates a path to make this action or thought easier the next time. Each time you repeat a word or an idea, it becomes more natural in your mind. Words like can't and maybe dig paths into your thinking. Your mind remembers and repeats them because it feels easy and safe. Every word you use is like a small lesson for your brain. If you often say, I will try, your brain learns to look for ways to try. If you often say, I will do it now, your brain learns that acting now is a normal thing. But if you say, later, Your mind learns that now is not important, and waiting is normal. When you feed your mind with words of doubt or delay, it believes waiting or doubt is best. Your feelings are closely linked to your words. If you keep saying that something is hard, your brain starts to give you feelings of stress and worry. If you tell yourself that you should do something, but you never say, "I want to do this," your brain feels pressure and guilt instead of excitement or hope. When you teach your brain that you always wait or always avoid, it makes you feel nervous or unhappy each time you face something new. Words can look small. It is easy to think they are not important. But what you say shapes your mind and your behavior. Your brain builds habits from every repeated word. These habits become your daily life. Maybe when you were a child, you tried new things and felt confident. As you grew older, if you started using weak words more often, your confidence became quieter. Your habits of action became weaker. You learned, without even wanting to accept less from yourself. When you use "can't" many times, you teach your mind that trying is useless. You stop looking for solutions. Even if there is a way to succeed, your mind tells you it is not possible. You feel tired before you even begin. If you always say "maybe," you stop choosing. You live in a space with no clear answers. Everything is uncertain, and your brain can never feel satisfied. Doubt becomes a habit, not just a thought. Your words become your instructions. The more you use certain words, the more they repeat inside your head. Your brain learns from examples and habits. If your daily habits are full of weak words, your mind grows weaker. You forget to ask, "What if I try?" Or "What if I can?" You stop taking chances and you stop finishing things. It is helpful to see that your mind works like a recorder, playing your words back to you. Every time you use a word, you press a small button in your brain. The next time you are in a similar situation, your mind presses that same button. You act as you did before because your brain remembers what you told it. When you see this pattern, it becomes clear why words are such a big part of willpower and motivation. You do not just lose energy by accident. You lose energy because your mind follows the path of the words you use every day. Even the things you tell yourself quietly, inside your own head, are lessons your mind remembers. One important thing to know is that your brain does not judge if your words are true or false. It listens. It builds habits from what you repeat. If you say, "I am not smart enough," your brain accepts those words. You see yourself that way, and you act that way. If you say, "I can learn this if I try," then your brain believes you can learn, even if it will take time. Many people worry about what they hear from others, but the most powerful voice is always your own. Nobody's words reach your mind as many times as yours. Even if you do not notice it, you spend the whole day talking to yourself. You plan your day, you make choices, you solve problems, and for all these tasks, you use words in your head. Each of these private conversations is a chance for your mind to learn something new or to become stuck in old habits. If your private words are full of doubt or waiting, your mind becomes used to struggling. It takes more effort to act, to finish, or to believe in yourself. But if your words show possibility or action, your mind slowly becomes more hopeful and ready to work. Your mind's learning may feel small at first, but over months and years, small patterns turn into big parts of your life. Imagine if, each day, you tell yourself 10 times, "I can't." If you do that for 1 year, that is more than 3,000 times. Now think about how different your mind would feel if you said 10 times each day, "I will try," or "I can do hard things." Over 1 year, that would be more than 3,000 lessons about hope and effort. This kind of learning happens without you even planning it. Most people do not sit down and say, "I will teach my mind to doubt itself." But when you use weak words constantly, doubt is what your mind learns. It is like practicing a song on a music instrument. The more you practice, the easier the song gets. The more you practice weak words, the easier it is for your brain to feel weak. You can also teach your mind new lessons. When you notice the words you use, you can begin to choose stronger words. If this feels uncomfortable at first, that is normal. It is a new kind of practice. With each strong word you use, your brain gets a new example. With each example, the new path in your mind becomes easier to follow. Your mind learns quickly if you keep repeating strong words. The first step is knowing what you say to yourself. Many people have never noticed their own patterns. You might believe your feelings just happen, but your words start those feelings. When you look at your thoughts, you can see the words you repeat the most. These are the words teaching your mind every day. To see your own patterns, pick a normal day. Every time you face a problem, try to pay attention to what you say in your head. Write it down if it helps. At the end of the day, read through your words. Are they mostly weak words? Are you telling yourself you are not ready, not capable, or not sure? Are there any words you use that make you feel strong, calm, or able? Seeing your patterns helps you understand how your brain is learning from you. It is helpful to remember that your mind is not your enemy. Your mind is always trying to help. It follows the instructions you give. If you want to feel more confident, you can guide your mind. Use words that help you feel able and hopeful. Make it a practice, not just something you do one time. Habits form because the brain wants to save energy. It learns what you do most, and it makes those things easy to repeat. If you want a new habit of hope and action, repeat strong words until your mind expects them. Each strong word helps you build a new habit, just as each weak word can build a habit of doubt. When you teach your mind to believe in delay, waiting becomes normal. When you teach your mind to believe in trying, effort becomes normal. The words you use about yourself, even if nobody else hears them, make the most difference. Sometimes you might struggle with this idea. You might think, "But I do not feel strong." You might worry, "I am just being honest when I say I can't." It is okay to feel uncertain. The idea is not to pretend, but to give your mind another choice. If you always say "I can't," your mind never learns about effort or possibility. If you change to "I will try," you allow your brain to learn about trying, even if it is hard. When your words change, your feelings can change too. For example, if you always use the word "should," your brain gets used to feeling guilty and pressured. If you change to "I want to" or "I choose to," your brain feels more open and active. You begin to see your choices as real choices, not as heavy duties you cannot escape. One way to help your brain learn better words is to slow down when you talk to yourself. Before you judge yourself or before you tell yourself you cannot do something, take a pause. Ask yourself, "Is this the only word I can use?" Try to change "can't" to "I will try." Try to change "maybe" to "yes" or "no." Try to change "should" to "I choose to." Every time you make this small change, your mind records a new lesson. Each word is like planting a seed. You do not see the result right away. After many days, new habits grow from these seeds. You will notice that you finish more of the things you start. You will notice that your mind feels lighter and more open. You will notice that your feelings of hope grow stronger. Remember, the brain is always listening. Even in the quiet moments, every word gets recorded. You do not need anyone else to hear your private words. They are important because your own mind is your most important listener. Some people worry that changing their words is fake. They think they are lying to themselves. But trying a new word is not the same as lying. It is giving your brain a new example to learn from. You do not have to say you are perfect or able to do everything. You just try different words and see what happens. Over time, your brain remembers the new lessons and believes in more possibilities. A helpful step is to ask yourself often, "What does my brain hear most from me?" Count how many times you say "I can't," "maybe," or "later." Then begin to experiment. How does it feel if you change just one of these every day to something stronger? Keep notes if it helps you. Notice which words make you feel the best. Notice which words help you begin or finish things. If you find it very hard to change all your habits at once, that is normal. Start with one word. Start with one part of your day. For example, if you always say, "Maybe I will start after lunch," change it to, "I will start after lunch." Your brain hears the difference. Try this for a few days. Notice what changes in your feelings and actions. When small changes start to work, your brain becomes more ready to learn new things. You will see that your old habits become weaker and your new ones become stronger. Old words may come back sometimes, but now you notice them. Now you can choose what to say next. You give your mind the best chance to learn by repeating positive words every day. Each morning is a new chance. Every difficult task is a chance to teach your brain something better and stronger. You do not have to learn all at once. You just notice, choose, and repeat. With each new lesson, your mind becomes better at noticing hope. Each repeated strong word gives you new energy. When you see results, like finishing tasks or feeling less worry, you give your brain proof that your new words work. The process can be slow, but it is real. Your brain keeps these lessons for a long time. Even when you feel tired or face old doubts, your new habits help you choose better words. Everyday practice leads to deeper change. You may find that after many weeks or months, you spend less time in doubt and more time in action. Your words are tools for your mind, and you use them with more care. When new problems come, you do not return so quickly to "can't" or "later." Instead, your first thought is, "I will try" or "I can." Your mind is always your partner. Even when you struggle, remember that your mind does what it learns from you. By being thoughtful with your words, you build a stronger and kinder mind. With time and care, you shape your actions, your feelings, and your life. The lessons are your own, created by your words and repeated each day. When you wake up and move through your day, you use words to help you think and decide. Each word is a message to your mind. You may not pay much attention to this because using words and thinking with words is simple and fast. But each message builds something inside of you. If you use weak words again and again, you can start to feel a change in your feelings and your actions. You do not notice it at first. After many days and weeks, you begin to sense that things feel heavier. Your energy is less. Your desire to act is less. You reach for an easy excuse instead of your true effort. The reason is not only outside of you, but also inside your own language. You might notice that simple tasks seem more tiring. You do what you must, but you do not feel very excited or happy about it. You start to put things off. You tell yourself, "I will do it later," and even simple chores become mountains. Soon, your to-do list grows and you feel unhappy with yourself. Each unchecked task makes you more likely to avoid the next one. You start to say, "I can't," when things get hard. Your voice inside your head becomes quiet and unsure. When you feel this loss of energy, you might think it comes from your job, your school, your family, or the world around you. These places can bring stress. But often, the real cause is the pile of weak words you have used over the last days, weeks, and even years. Your mind listens very closely to everything you say, even if you only say it silently and nobody else hears. This constant use of weak words has real results. It changes your motivation. Motivation is the feeling inside you that pushes you to act, to begin, and to finish tasks. When you use weak words, motivation gets smaller. You start to see work and effort as painful or impossible. Even fun things start to feel heavy. You might watch the tasks ahead of you and decide to wait. When you keep waiting, nothing gets finished. You carry unfinished problems from day to day, and your mind gets tired. You may also feel that willpower is hard to find. Willpower is what helps you keep going when you want to stop. It helps you say yes to good habits and no to things that waste your time. If your language is full of maybe, can't, should, and later, then your willpower gets weaker. Instead of pushing ahead, you lay back and let tasks wait. When willpower and motivation are weak, your life starts to fill up with things you have not done. Clothes that are not put away, work that is not finished, calls you need to make, promises you made to yourself but did not keep. This list grows, and it starts to feel like a heavy bag. You begin to doubt your own abilities more and more. Another result is the feeling that everything is too much. When motivation and willpower fall, every small job can begin to feel very large. You may feel frozen when thinking about starting. You say, "I can't do it," or "it's too hard," even before you start. By not starting, you let your doubts grow stronger in your mind. The task itself does not change, but your feelings change because of the words you use. Soon the habit of avoiding grows. Sometimes this is called procrastination. Procrastination means waiting to do things you need to do, even when you know it will make you feel worse later. People procrastinate for many reasons, but weak words play a large part. Each time you say, "I will do it later," "I'm not ready," or "maybe tomorrow," you give yourself a reason to wait. You set the task aside and hope that later will feel easier. But later usually brings more tasks, not less. Each day you avoid a job, your mind collects more guilt and more stress. The feeling of guilt makes things heavier. Guilt is the quiet feeling inside when you know you did not do what you said you would do. Each day you put something off, that feeling grows. You might tell yourself, "Everyone waits sometimes," or "I am just too busy." But the truth is, your own words are the first thing making the waiting happen. Weak words are not just habits of language, they are habits of emotion. They change how you feel about yourself and the possibilities in your life. Over time, using words that carry doubt or delay means you expect very little from yourself. Maybe you stop believing that you can finish hard things. Maybe you stop hoping for better results. You begin to act out of habit, not because you choose to. Your self-image also changes. Self-image is how you see yourself, inside your own mind. When your self-image is strong, you know you can begin and finish things, even when they are hard. When your self-image is weak, you believe you will give up. You believe you will not stick to your goals. Each weak word makes your self-image a little dimmer. Every time you do not finish something you planned, your view of yourself gets a little more negative. Relationships can also feel the change. If you often say maybe or later or should, the people around you notice. Maybe you do not answer messages. Maybe you promise to meet, but cancel many times. Maybe you say, "I should help," but never do. Over days and weeks, trust between you and others becomes less. Your words stop feeling true, even to you. This problem grows over time. In the beginning, you may not notice much difference. The first unfinished task is small. The first missed call is not a big deal. The first delay does not feel too heavy. But weak words add up. Every maybe, every can't, every later becomes another piece of doubt in your mind. After many months and years, you begin to believe that you are not a person who can finish things or who can act strong. Some people begin to feel fear when they see work or plans. They say inside, "I am always late," or "I cannot get things right." This fear grows with every new delay and every new excuse. Each day you do not try, your mind finds it easier to avoid trying the next day. In this way, weak words teach you to expect less and do less. Soon you act only when forced, and you never trust yourself to do more than the minimum. Motivation, willpower, and self-trust all become weaker when you use weak words. This process is slow and almost invisible, but it is real. You can even begin to see other people through this weak lens. If you use weak words with yourself, You may begin to use them with others. You may stop believing in their power, just as you stopped believing in yours. Imagine a person who always says, "Maybe I can do it," or "Later, I will try." At first, this person only waits. After some time, he does not try at all. The brain gets better at giving up than at beginning. It feels uncomfortable to act. Even the idea of trying seems big. This is learned over many days of practicing weak language. The mind and body start to expect failure or escape. Even health and well-being are touched. When you say, "I can't get up early," or "I should exercise, but I will do it later," you begin to care less for your needs. Your health choices become weak. You may eat less healthy food or move your body less. Your sleep may suffer because your mind is full of waiting and regret. Over time, the effects are not just inside your head, but in your body as well. All of this came in part from the simple and small words you use each day. These words direct your thinking, your feeling, and your behavior. Many people wait for motivation to come before they act. But when you use weak words, motivation hardly ever comes. Willpower does not grow just by waiting for it. It grows when you use language and choices that make you believe you can finish and achieve. It is important to see clearly how closely your words are connected to your mood and your actions. When you feel tired, ask what you have been telling yourself. When you do not finish things, ask if you have filled your mind with maybe, can't, or later. When you lose trust in yourself, listen for the words you repeat in your mind. Sometimes you may feel trapped by this cycle. You try to begin, but always end up waiting. You decide to finish, but the will is not strong enough. You make lists, but nothing moves from to do to done. Changing this cycle starts with words. The next time you face a job, notice the first word that comes to your mind. Is it maybe? Is it can't? Is it should? Is it later? If so, pause. Your mind is looking for a way out, not a way in. Each time you use a weak word, you make your job harder. Each time you use a strong word, you make it lighter. Your feelings follow your language, not only the other way around. New habits feel strange at first, but with patience, they grow more natural. The good news is that you do not need to wait for a perfect day or perfect feelings to begin. You can choose a better word, even if you do not feel strong at the start. If you say, "I will try now," or "I choose to finish," your feelings begin to follow your words. You start, even if you move slowly. Each small action is a lesson for your brain. Each lesson makes starting and finishing easier the next time. Motivation is not something only lucky people have. Willpower is not a gift that comes without action. They both are built from how you treat yourself and what you say to yourself. You can grow them by using words that show you trust yourself. You do not need to wait for energy. Your words can bring you energy. If you want to rebuild your motivation, start with the language you use. Replace maybe with I will. Replace later with now. Change should to I want to or I choose to. Say I will try instead of I can't. If this is hard, start small. Pick one job, pick 1 hour. Change your word and see what happens. The more you do this, the more you teach your mind that finishing is possible. You can also help your willpower grow by noticing your victories, however small they are. Each time you do something right away or finish a job you started, say it out loud. I finished. I did this today. Let your mind learn these strong messages. Each success, no matter how simple, is a new note for your mind to remember. Some people think willpower is just about being strict or hard on yourself, but that is not true. Willpower grows more when you use kind and clear language. Forgive yourself for old delays. Focus on good words now. Each new word is a chance to be better. If you get tired or fall back into old habits, do not get angry at yourself. Notice it and gently choose a better word next time. This is like building a wall, one brick at a time. Slow but steady. and always moving forward. If you feel uncertain, remember that every person can grow stronger by choosing new words. Your mind listens and follows you. It is not too late. Even a small change today will become a bigger change in the future. Start with one task, one choice, and one good word. Soon, your mind will learn. The path back to motivation, willpower, and trust begins with the words you say. Make these words simple, kind, and strong. Notice how your feelings respond. When you finish something you have delayed, reward yourself with strong words. I did this. I chose this. Each time, you make your mind a little stronger. Each time you make waiting and doubt a little weaker. With repeated practice, strong words become a habit, just as weak words once were. You become a person with energy because you speak with energy. You act because your words tell your mind that action is possible. Others may see the difference, and you will feel it too. You will trust yourself again because you keep your promises to yourself. You will finish more tasks. You will enjoy the small wins. Your days will become lighter because your mind learns that you are a person who acts. You will see that a new habit can begin with a new word. Your life will start to change, not in one large step, but in many small and simple steps, each guided by the language you choose. As you keep moving forward, you start to see that the way you talk to yourself is learned over time. Maybe you picked up your words from the people around you. Maybe you heard them from your parents or teachers when you were very young. Maybe your friends and co-workers use these same words now. Every day, you hear and use words that can change your mind and your actions. You do not always choose these words on purpose. Sometimes you copy what you have heard since you were a child. You may not realize how much power these simple words have, but people have known the truth about words and the mind for a very long time. Long ago, there were people who studied how the mind works. They tried to understand why some people stay strong in hard times, while other people feel weak. They noticed that words mattered, even if nobody else heard them. A man named Marcus Aurelius lived almost 2,000 years ago. He was not only a leader, but also a thinker. He wrote about the mind and the words you say to yourself. He knew that the words you use inside your head can lift you up or pull you down. He taught that if you want to feel strong, your words must be strong too. Marcus Aurelius believed that your mind follows your own voice. When you say you can do something, you feel more able to act. When you say you cannot do something, you feel less able. He did not say that you should ignore your real life or pretend that things are easy. He said you should talk to yourself in a way that helps you grow, not a way that makes you smaller. Other people from long ago also cared about words and the inner voice. For example, the philosopher Epictetus taught that you cannot always control what happens outside you, but you can always choose what happens inside your own mind. The words you use are your tools. When you say, "I will try," you open the door to action. When you say, "I will never do this," you close the door before you try. This simple idea has helped many people over the years. Words do not belong only to you. They are carried from person to person, year to year, and even from one century to another. The language you use in your thoughts is shaped by thousands of years of learning and teaching. People in the past learned from their mistakes and their victories. They passed on their advice to their children, their students, and anyone willing to listen. In every age, some people used words to grow strong, and some used words that held them back. You have the power to decide which path you want to take. Think for a moment about what you tell yourself when something goes wrong. If you say, "I always fail," you are repeating a weak lesson to your mind. If you say, "This is hard, but I will try again," you are practicing the strength that Marcus Aurelius and other wise people spoke about. You do not have to be perfect. You only need to choose words that help you move forward. In every period of history, there were people who found courage in their words. They faced danger, trouble, and change. They did not rely on luck or wait for someone else to decide for them. They talked to themselves in a strong way. They said things like, "I can face this," or "I am still learning." Over many days, these words built courage inside their minds. Even in the darkest times, their inner language gave them hope. You may think that old wisdom does not fit your life now. The world moves fast. New problems arrive every day. It is easy to feel that you are alone with your doubts and fears. But the truth is, many people before you felt the same way. They worried about the future. They faced days when nothing felt possible. They also used weak words, and they learned to choose better words with time and effort. When you learn from the teachings of people like Marcus Aurelius, you remember that you are not the first to face hard days. The mind has always needed careful language. Your words are your first defense against fear, doubt, and giving up. Old wisdom is not about being strong every minute. It is about being honest with yourself and always choosing your words with care. Many ancient teachers wrote about self-control. They said that before you act, you must take care of your thoughts. If you let your mind fill up with weak words, your actions will be weak too. If you fill your mind with words that show you can try, or that you are able to learn, your actions will have more power. You do not need to shout or use big sentences. Small, true words like "I can try" are enough to shift your thinking. There are stories of parents teaching their children to speak well to themselves. They did not want their children to use words like "I am stupid" or "I am unlucky." They told them to use words of hope, effort, and care. Teachers in the past taught students to be careful with the words in their mind. They showed that every word you speak inside your head can shape your life for the better or for the worse. The wisdom is simple. Your mind is always listening. Even when you are tired or frightened, your mind pays close attention. Words are not magic, but they are powerful tools. The right word, used at the right time, can help you stand up and try again. The wrong word, repeated many times, can make you stop before you begin. When you notice that your words are mostly negative or full of doubt, you have a choice. You can let these words grow and they will make you more tired and unsure. Or you can start using better words. The wise people of the past did not say that change is easy. They said that change is possible, little by little, as you practice. One way to start is to copy the habits of old teachers. When you wake up, greet yourself with good words. Say, "Today I will do what I can." In the middle of your day, when you face trouble, tell yourself, "This is hard, but I will keep going." At night, thank yourself. "I did my best today." These are not just nice phrases. They are examples of language that teach your mind to hope and to act. You do not have to read old books or become a philosopher to use this kind of wisdom. You can begin with one word today. Watch your language. When you notice a weak word, pause and change it. When your mind says maybe, say yes or no. When your mind says can't, say I will try. With each word you change, you use the same lessons that helped people long ago. Over time, your mind will notice the difference. You will see that you recover from trouble faster. You will finish more of what you start. You will wait less, and you will trust yourself more. The old teachers were right. Strong words make a strong mind. You may also notice your habits in the people around you. Listen for the words others use. If you hear a friend say, "I can't," or "I always fail," you can share what you have learned. You can remind them to try different words, to be kinder to themselves. Sharing wisdom helps everyone grow. Wise people from the past would tell you that words have lasting effects, even after a difficult day is over. The words you use can comfort you, motivate you, or protect you from bad thoughts. They help you stick to your goals when you want to give up. They help you to forgive yourself and move forward. They can make the difference between waiting and trying. losing, and learning. You may face days when your words turn negative very quickly. On these days, kindness is important. Ancient wisdom teaches not to judge yourself too hard. If you notice a weak word, forgive yourself and try again. Each new moment is a chance to speak with more strength. Nobody is perfect, and everyone forgets sometimes. What matters most is to keep trying. The reason wise words are remembered for thousands of years is because people see that they work. When you change your words, you feel the change inside your mind. You do not need to believe every positive word at first. It is enough to try. Your mind will see the difference with practice. You can also use writing as a tool. Many people from the past kept journals or wrote down their thoughts. When you write, your words become more real. You see what you are telling yourself. If you find many negative or weak lines, try to write something stronger. Even one good word on the page can start to change the way you think. When you read back over what you wrote, you can learn even more. You may see patterns. Maybe every time you are tired, you use weak words. Maybe you say, "I should have done more." Old advice would say, "Be gentle. Look for small wins. Write down what you finished, even if it was small." Let your own words become your teacher. Some people find comfort in speaking out loud. The old teachers gave advice to breathe and say good words, even when alone. When you speak hope, it becomes easier to act. When you hear your own voice saying you will try, your body and mind follow. If you feel far from strong people in history, remember every person has doubts and fears sometimes. The men and women who left their wisdom behind struggled too. They did not always know which word to choose, but they learned that the words you use each day matter more than fear. Many years ago, Marcus Aurelius wrote that what you tell yourself each morning shapes your day. He did not say you must always feel happy or strong. He said you must choose your thoughts with care, no matter how you feel. When you do, you start to control your life instead of letting life control you. Every morning, start with one good word. Every night, check which words you used. With time, old habits will feel weaker. New habits will grow stronger. Your mind will become a good partner, not an enemy. You do not have to use old language to learn old lessons. You only need to remember that what you say to yourself every day is important. Choose words that help you keep trying. Choose words that give you hope. Listen and learn from people who use their words to move forward, even when it was hard. If you are tired, use gentle language. If you are frightened, use calm language. If you want to give up, use words that help you try again. Small choices, repeated every day, make a big change over time. This is what the old teachers discovered and what they shared with everyone who wanted to grow. Learning from wisdom is not about being perfect or strong all the time. It is about paying attention, making changes, and practicing with patience. You have this strength inside you, even on your hard days. Begin small. Use strong, simple language. Watch your mind change as you practice. This is a lesson that has lasted thousands of years, and it is yours to use as well. You are not alone on hard days. Many people before you have used their words to find courage and action. You can do the same. Your next word is always your chance for a new beginning. Every new day is a new chance to listen to the words you tell yourself. The words from yesterday may come back, and sometimes the same tired or weak feelings try to return too. This is very normal. You do not have to fight every thought, but you can use this as a moment to become aware of what is happening in your mind. Sometimes, the simple act of noticing is the first and most important step to making your days better. As you wake up and start your morning, your thoughts may arrive before you even open your eyes. You might think about the day and what you need to do. Your mind may whisper old words like, "I can't do this," or "Maybe I will try later." These words may feel true, but they are not always real. They are the words you have practiced many times. The first thing you can do is listen quietly. Let yourself notice what your mind is saying before you react. You do not have to judge or argue. You can simply notice what comes up. As you go through your morning, notice how many times you use weak words. You may find that you repeat them out of habit. Maybe you say, "I should get going," or "I don't have time." Maybe you say, "later," when you want to avoid something. These words often escape without effort. This is just how habits work. They become automatic and quiet, and we do them many times each day without thinking. You may also notice weak words in your private thoughts, not just in what you say out loud. You may think quietly, "I am not strong enough for this," or "I will not finish everything." These silent words are just as powerful as the words you speak. Your brain listens to every message, even the quiet and private ones. Noticing these patterns is the key. When you spot the words you use, you are not judging yourself. You are learning about yourself. You are doing what thoughtful people through history have always advised, paying attention to your own mind. This is a gentle practice. It is not about making yourself feel bad. It is about being honest and open. Maybe you notice you use certain weak words more often at specific times. Some people say, "I can't" the most when they are tired. Some use "maybe" when they feel unsure of what to choose. Others use "should" when they feel guilty about resting or relaxing. The word "later" is often used when someone is afraid to start a hard job. Each person is different. Your pattern belongs to you. Take a little time during the day to pay attention. You might want to write down the words you find yourself saying the most. It can be as simple as carrying a piece of paper with you or making a note on your phone. Each time you say "can't," or "maybe," or "later," or "should," make a mark. At the end of the day, you will see a map of your regular words. You will start to see which ones are helping you and which ones are holding you back. If you do not like the idea of writing, try to pause in the moment when you hear one of these weak words. Say it quietly in your mind. "I just said 'later' again." Just by noticing, you are beginning to wake up your awareness to this habit. Being aware makes it easier to see when these words come up tomorrow or the next day. Listening to yourself in this way is a practice. You are not trying to win or to finish quickly. You are trying to become a little more aware each day. Every time you see a pattern in your thoughts, you understand more about how your mind works. This leads to small changes, often before you even try to change anything. Some days you may feel frustrated when you find many weak words in your mind. You may ask yourself, "Why do I do this? Why do I keep telling myself these things?" Remember, these are habits that were built over a long time. They are not mistakes. They are just learned patterns. Many people have the same habits, and you are not alone. Think about when you feel the most tired or unmotivated. Are there certain words that you use more during those times? For example, before starting homework or going to your job, do you use "can't" or "later"? When you plan to call someone or try something new, do you hear yourself think, "Maybe I should, but maybe not"? Each time you notice, you can ask yourself, "Is this word really helping me right now?" Notice also the effects of these words in your body and in your mood. If you say "can't" many times, you may notice you feel more tired or stressed. If you use "should" too much, you may feel sad, as if you never do enough. If you use "later," your body may start to feel heavy, and you may lose interest or energy. The link between your words and how you feel is strong, even if you cannot see it with your eyes. Sometimes you will notice that these words come not only from your own mind, but from the world around you. Family members, friends, or people at work may use these words too. If you are around someone who says "I can't," you may find yourself saying it more. If someone always waits to act, you may catch yourself waiting too. You learn from everyone, and others learn from you. You may also notice that some people use stronger words and have more energy. You may feel different when you are with them. They may say, "I will try," or "I want to do it now." You may start to use these stronger words as well, even without trying. This is another proof that habits of words can change, just by what you notice and who you spend time with. If you want to learn more about your habits, try to look for the times when your words change. For example, maybe you use weak words in the morning, but by afternoon you use stronger words. Maybe after talking to a helpful friend, you notice you use "I can" and "I will" more. Try to notice when your habits are most helpful and when they are less helpful. Sometimes certain places or tasks make weak words show up. For example, in school or at your job, maybe you say "I can't" or "maybe" about projects. But with family or hobbies, you might use "I will" or "now" more often. Understanding these patterns gives you more power to change your habits in the times and places where you most need help. If you want, you can set reminders for yourself to listen for your words. Maybe you put a note where you see it, like on your door or your mirror. It could say, "Listen to your words today." Each time you see the note, you remember to pay attention. Over time, this will become more natural and you will remember to notice even without the reminder. As you keep noticing your own words, remember to be gentle with yourself. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel hard. This is normal. What is important is to not give up. If you catch yourself using weak words, that is not a failure. It is a sign you are learning and getting better at listening to yourself. This honest practice of listening helps in many ways. You learn what triggers your habits. You learn which times are hardest. You start to see old beliefs that were hidden before. You remember times you handled things well, and this gives you hope for new habits. You do not have to try to change everything at once. Noticing is a good step by itself. Each time you see a weak word and do not let it pass unnoticed, you are a little more ready to change it in the future. You may want to tell someone close to you what you are doing. Sharing your plan to listen for weak words can make it easier. Maybe you support each other and check in about your progress. If you do not want to share, that is fine too. What matters most is your own practice and awareness. Each day, take a small moment to review what words you noticed. Think about the times you used strong words too. Celebrate these moments, even if they were small or few. This helps your mind learn that you value change. If you need help, you can ask someone you trust to point out when you use weak language. Sometimes a friend or family member can hear your habits before you do. If they are kind and helpful, they can gently remind you when they notice a word like "can't" or "maybe." If you choose to do this, be sure it feels safe and helpful for both of you. As you keep paying attention, you start to notice even more about how words guide your choices. If you see yourself using many weak words before certain tasks, you may discover that you do not really want to do them. Or you may see you feel afraid of making mistakes. The words you use can show you your feelings, hopes, and fears. Some people use different words with themselves than they use with others. For example, you may speak kindly to a friend, but be very hard on yourself. Your own private language can be gentle or strict. Notice if you are your own friend or your own critic. Notice what happens if you talk to yourself with kindness and patience. You can also notice changes from day to day. Maybe one week you feel strong and use positive words, but another week is harder. This can happen for many reasons: tiredness, stress, or health. These changes are not signs that you are failing. They are just part of life. By paying attention, you are already making your mind more flexible and aware. Notice if there are certain goals or dreams that bring out more weak words. Big plans can make the mind afraid. The habit of saying "I can't" or "later" often grows around your biggest hopes. If you notice this, it is a good sign. It means you are now able to see your own patterns in places where you most need strength. Listening to your words also helps you see what truly matters to you. When you always use strong words for one part of your life, that shows where you feel sure and driven. When you use weak words, that may show fear, old beliefs, or a need for more support. With this new awareness, you take the first real step towards change. Before you replace old words, you must see where they are. Your words are like signs on a map. When you know your path, you know when to turn and when to keep going. You do not walk in darkness anymore. You use your words to light the way. If you feel lost or unsure, take a breath and remind yourself that change comes slowly. Noticing even one weak word each day is more than you did before. This is true progress. Each week, try to spend a few minutes looking back at your notes or your thoughts. Notice if there are certain words that are starting to disappear. Notice if new, stronger words are showing up. Let yourself be proud of these small changes. Some people find it helpful to place strong words where they can see them. For example, you might put "I can" or "I will try" on your wall or phone. Seeing these words each day helps remind your mind that change is possible and happening already. You do not need to be perfect. Even if you notice weak words many times each day, you are still learning and moving forward. Remember that everyone struggles with this at first. Your ability to notice is a skill that gets better with time. If you slip back into old habits, do not get angry with yourself. Start again the next day or even the next moment. Each chance to notice your words is another step along your path. Each time you see and hear your own patterns, you are less controlled by them. Being aware of your words can make you a calmer person. It can help you see problems with more understanding. It helps you forgive yourself, and it starts to open new doors in your life. You begin to notice which words are blocking you and which are helping you move forward. This gentle, honest practice is one of the strongest tools you can use to build a better life. You are not just repeating advice from long ago, you are making it real for yourself in small ways every day. Over weeks and months, you will feel your mind becoming more open, less afraid, and more willing to act on your plans. The process begins and continues with noticing. The more you see, the more you can do. Awareness is power. It is quiet, patient, and resilient. Today and tomorrow and in all the days after, you can use this skill. Each time you listen to yourself, you take care of your mind and your life. Your path is made by every word, every day. Every day you begin again with the chance to notice how you speak to yourself. After you learn to listen to the words you use, you may start to think about changing these words. You see which words in your mind are weak and which ones are strong. This is not always easy, but the act of noticing weak language gives you the power to choose better words. Awareness comes first, and then comes action, one word at a time. Now you can imagine what it would be like to use new words in your everyday life. Maybe in the morning you always hear yourself say, "I can't get out of bed," or "I don't want to start this day." If you notice these weak words, you can gently choose something different. You might try saying, "I will get up now," or "Today I will do my best." These new words are simple, but they change the way you feel as the day starts. Changing words is about small choices. When you face a simple task, like cleaning, working, or making a call, you might hear the old habit say, "Later," or "Maybe I can't." When you catch these words, pause. Then try to say, "I will do it now," or "I will try." It may not feel natural at first. This is normal. New habits always feel strange at the beginning. You may feel silly or uncomfortable saying strong words when you do not believe them fully. This feeling is common. It means you are leaving behind an old way of thinking. It does not mean the change is wrong. Each time you speak a stronger word, your mind learns something new. The more you use strong words, the more your mind accepts them. Over days and weeks, the words "I will" and "I can" or "I want to" will feel more real. When you want to replace weak words, remember to keep things simple. For example, instead of maybe, use yes or no. Instead of can't, use I will try. Instead of should, use I choose to or I want to. Instead of later, use now. You do not need to change every word all at once. Pick one word that you often use. Focus on this word for one day. Each time you hear yourself say it, try to swap it for a stronger word. You might be surprised at how often you use the old habit word. Changing just one word can begin to shift your thinking and your actions. Some days you will feel strong and able to choose better words. Other days you may fall back into old habits. This is not a failure. Habits are built over many years. The process of changing them is slow and patient. Each time you choose a strong word, no matter how small, that is progress. Replacing weak language is not about ignoring your real feelings. Sometimes you may feel tired or uncertain or even sad. You can notice the feeling and still choose a better word. For example, if you feel tired and your mind says, "I can't do this today," pause. Say instead, "I will try my best right now." The strong word does not erase the feeling, but it helps you move forward. You can use reminders to help you. Write a list of strong words and put them where you can see them. You might write, "I can try" on your mirror, or "now" near your workspace. Every time you see these words, say them to yourself. Over time, seeing and saying strong words becomes natural. You may want to practice changing words with another person. Tell a friend or family member about your plan. You can help each other notice when you use weak words. You can remind each other to switch to stronger ones. This help can make the process feel easier and more fun. When you use strong words, notice the difference in how you feel and act. At first, the change may be slow, but after some days or weeks, you may see that you finish more tasks. You may feel a little more energy. You may feel less stress or guilt about waiting. Every strong word is a small act of discipline. You can make this process part of your day. Each time you need to make a decision, listen for your first thought. If you hear a weak word, change it. This works for big and small choices. You can say, "I choose to do my homework now," instead of "I should finish it later." You can say, "I can meet my friend today," instead of "maybe I can't." These new words change your direction, one decision at a time. Writing is a good way to practice strong language. Each morning or night, write down one thing you will do using strong words. For example, "I will walk outside for 10 minutes." Keep your promises to yourself. If you find you keep using old words, be gentle with yourself. Try again tomorrow. The more you practice, the more skilled you become. You may want to keep track of your progress in a small notebook or on your phone. Make a mark each time you use a strong word in place of a weak one. After 1 week, count your marks. Celebrate each good word you chose. This builds confidence. You make your own proof that you can use strong language. Sometimes you may feel that strong words are not honest, especially when you are afraid or worried. It is important to understand that strong language is not about lying to yourself. It is about giving your mind a path to action, even if you feel doubt. Saying, "I will try," or "I am ready to begin," does not mean you know the result. It only means you are open to what may happen. You can use strong words in every part of your life. At work, you might say, "I will finish this project today," instead of "maybe I can finish." With family, you can say, "I want to help," instead of "I should help." With yourself, you can say, "I am learning," instead of "I can't." Every place you use better words becomes a place where you feel more power. Some habits take longer to change. You may have one weak word you use all the time. focus on this word as long as you need. When it starts to feel natural to use the stronger form, move to another word. There is no set speed. Every person will move through this process in their own way. Your feelings will guide you. As you use more strong words, notice your mood, notice your energy. If you feel more able to act, this means your new habits are working. If you slip and use weak words, this is not bad. It is just a sign to notice and try again. If you live with other people, you can share this way of speaking with them. Sometimes you will see that others have the same habits as you. You might help a child, friend, or co-worker learn to use "I can try" instead of "I can't." When you use strong language together, it is easier to remember and to keep the habit. Changing your words also helps change your self-image. Each time you say, "I will," you teach your mind that you are someone who acts. Each time you say, "I can," your mind believes you are able. With every good word, your self-image grows more positive. This makes it easier to keep your promises and to reach your goals. Some days, thoughts from the past may come back. You may hear old voices inside saying, "You never finish anything," or "You always wait." When this happens, answer with a strong present word. Say, "I finish things now," or "I begin now." The old thoughts may not go away right away, but your new words make space for better habits. It is important to celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Each time you change one word, notice what happens in your mind and body. You might feel more calm or more ready to act. You might feel proud of one choice. These feelings are important. They show that small changes work. If you find a day when you use many weak words, do not give up. The next day is a new chance. You are building a skill, and every attempt counts. Some people take longer to change habits, and that is completely fine. Be gentle and patient with yourself as you grow. You may want to set a simple reminder each morning. You could say to yourself, "Today I will use strong words." If you forget, that is okay. Every reminder is a step forward. Sometimes your mind will resist new language. You may think it sounds strange or too optimistic. It is good to remind yourself that habits always take time to feel natural. If you stay with your practice, soon strong words will be a normal part of your day. Many people notice that changing words is easier in the morning but harder at night or in moments of stress. If you use weak words when you feel tired or overwhelmed, this is normal. When you feel stronger, it is easier to use better language. Try to use strong words even in the hard times. These are the moments when new habits are made. If you need help, use outside reminders. You might put a small sign on your desk or set an alarm on your phone. When you see or hear the reminder, speak a strong word out loud. Even one strong word can help you move forward. You can also use your body to help your words. Sit up straight, take a deep breath, and say a strong word. Your body and mind work together. When your body feels ready, your mind feels ready too. If you forget and say something weak like maybe or can't, do not be upset. Pause for one moment. Say the stronger word out loud. The change from weak to strong is a new habit, built each time you practice it. At the end of the day, think about the moments when you caught a weak word and chose a stronger one. Thank yourself for trying. Each effort is a small success. These successes build trust in yourself. Your environment can help your efforts as well. If you are surrounded by people who use strong language, it is easier for you to use it too. If people around you always use weak words, you may need to work harder to keep your new habit. Remember that your words belong to you. You can choose them no matter what anyone else says. Making the change to stronger language is not about being perfect. Every person makes mistakes. What matters is that you keep trying every day. Each new word is a gift to your future self. You are able to change your life by changing the words you use. One small step at a time, you teach your mind and body to believe in actions, in hope, and in strength. Each strong word replaces a piece of fear or doubt. Each day you practice, you make it easier to finish things, start new goals, and trust yourself even when life is hard. This process is made of small choices, done again and again. You do not have to rush or do everything at once. Take one step, one word, one choice every day. Step by step, word by word, your mind and life begin to feel new. The words you use are tools, and you have the power to choose the best ones for you. When you start using stronger words each day, something inside you begins to change. It may feel slow at first, but over time it will become more familiar and comfortable. What was once a new idea becomes a regular part of your life. The way you talk to yourself, and even to other people, starts to change without much effort. This is the sign that a small practice is becoming a habit. As each morning arrives, you remember to use good words before you even get out of bed. Maybe you say to yourself, "I will begin now," or "I can handle this morning." These words feel normal after many days of practice. The quiet habit of using strong language begins to work even when you are tired or uncertain. At first, you had to remind yourself. Now it happens almost by itself. Each day, many choices come your way. You choose what you will do, when you will do it, and how you will act towards others. You also choose how you speak inside your own mind. By making strong language a habit, you see that it helps at every step. You get out of bed more easily. You finish a small job as soon as you can instead of putting it off. You begin to trust your own words more and more. Maybe you used to wait for motivation before acting. Now your strong words give you a little push each time you need it. You tell yourself, "I will start now," instead of waiting for the perfect feeling. You use your own language to begin, and the habit grows stronger every day. Some people worry that a habit takes away free choice. It does not. A good habit is something that helps you, even on the days you do not feel strong. Strong language becomes a habit when you choose to practice it every day in small ways. With each choice, you teach your mind that using new words is safe and helpful. Making a habit of strong words also brings results you can see. Your mind becomes more calm. You have less stress about unfinished tasks. You handle surprises and problems with better energy. When you use strong words in your mind, you start to see yourself as someone who finishes what they start. You might notice changes in your routine. Things that used to take a long time, like cleaning, calling a friend, or starting a project, become easier. You notice less delay and less worry. You feel lighter each time you use strong words, and then see yourself take action. As your habit grows, the people around you may notice too. You may speak to them with more confidence. You may offer help more quickly. When problems come up, you choose your words with more care. You use "I can" or "I will" instead of "I can't" or "maybe." Others may feel safer or happier around you because your words are steady. You may find that you support other people with your new way of talking. If someone says, "Maybe I can't," you encourage them by saying, "Just try," or "You can do it." Your habit becomes a gift to other people. You might hear a child, a friend, or a co-worker use your words, and this helps you remember to keep your practice strong. A habit is made strong by repetition. Every time you use good language, whether out loud or in your mind, you make it easier to use the next time. After many days, the time between weak words gets longer. The time between strong words gets shorter. You choose power and hope with less effort. There are still moments when old habits might return. When you are tired, upset, or stressed, your mind may try to use "later" or "can't" again. Do not feel discouraged. Habits are never perfect. The good news is that the new habits you built make it easier to get back on track. One strong word or act can remind you of your progress. Many people find it helps to set up regular reminders for themselves. You might place a note where you see it every morning. Use strong words today. Or you set an alarm on your phone with a kind message to yourself. Each reminder is like a hand that lifts you a little higher. With time, you may not need reminders at all. Small routines can also help you. For example, at the start of your workday or school day, you might take a few breaths and say, "I am ready." At the end of the day, you look back and notice when you used strong words and acted quickly. Tell yourself, "I did well." Each small routine supports your habit and keeps your mind focused. Being around supportive people makes building your habit easier. If your friends or family understand your practice, they might join you. You could have short talks at dinner about which strong words each person used today. Or you send each other messages that use strong language. The habit grows faster in a supportive space. Even if the people around you do not wish to join, your habit is yours. You do not need anyone's permission to use strong language. Your mind is always ready for a better word. Practice is the heart of building a habit. Every day will have simple moments when you can choose a better word. If you forget some days, remember that missing a day is not the end. You can return to your practice right away. The key is not to quit. You keep going, one word at a time. Making practice easier is possible if you break your day into small steps. In the morning, choose a strong word before you start anything. During the day, stop when faced with a choice and check if your words help you. At night, review and think of one more good word before sleep. These steps are simple but powerful. Some days you might face big problems or feel very tired. On those days, use extra care with your words. You can say, "I will do my best today," or "I will take one step." Strong language does not mean you act with force all the time. It means you help yourself move forward even if the step is small. If you enjoy writing, use a journal to keep your habits strong. Each morning, write what you want to do using "I will" or "I can." At night, write which strong words you used. If you like pictures, draw a star or a smile each time you notice a habit getting stronger. Over weeks and months, these notes show you just how much you have changed. When your habit feels strong, you may want to help others. Share how good language changed your days. Listen when someone is struggling and remind them about the strength of words. Helping someone else is also another way to help your own habit. It is also important to remember that habits grow layer by layer. Some days it is easy, some days it is hard. On the easy days, keep your practice going. On hard days, be extra gentle and do not blame yourself if you use a weak word. Start again with the next word, the next choice, or the next morning. The process of making your language into a habit has benefits for your future. When you face new challenges, your mind is ready with words that help instead of words that hold you back. You act sooner, you finish more, and you build trust in yourself. This is not only about words, it is about the kind of life you make day by day. Good habits can also make your mind feel safer and less overwhelmed. You have fewer worries because you do not let tasks wait too long. You do not carry old guilt because you act and finish what you start. There is less stress because small acts become easy and strong words take the place of weak ones. If you travel or move, if your job or school changes, your habit stays with you. No matter where you are, the language you use travels in your mind. This gives you something stable, even if life around you changes often. With time, you may see new parts of yourself. You may act more kindly toward others. You may start new hobbies, make new friends, or finish old goals. Strong language gives you the courage and motivation to do these things. You begin to believe that you can act even when things are not simple. If you slip, do not be surprised. The path to a new habit is full of small mistakes. Each mistake is just another lesson. When you see yourself using a word you do not want, pause and change it next time. Over a month, 2 months, or even 3 months, your strong language will become true without you having to think so hard. Trust grows each time you act with strong language. Trust is built by finishing a small task today. It is built by staying true to your promises even when nobody sees. It is built when you act, rest, and talk to yourself with kindness. Another gift of the habit is that you become more grateful. You notice your wins, you speak with warmth, and you see hope in moments that used to feel dark. When you remember to say, "I can," or "I will try," you show gentle care for your mind and the people you touch. Each year, each month, and each day, your habit grows with steady practice. Even if you have days with old, weak words, you can always come back. Your mind is a partner in this. You practice together, building new paths, stronger than before. In hard times, your habit of strong words is a tool. When you lose something or face trouble, your first words are not, "I give up," but "I will keep going," or "I will find a way." This practice gives hope, even when life feels unfair. All these changes come from small steps, small words, and regular practice. You learn from each day. You celebrate good days and forgive the rest. You stay on your path, one word at a time. With each morning, choose your language with care. With each task, use a strong word to help you begin. At night, let your mind rest and remember that your practice today is enough. The habit you build with strong words is a gift you give to every tomorrow. Even as you settle into the practice of using strong words and build a better habit, there are still times when things will not go as planned. Some days are harder than others. You might feel tired or heavy. You might wake up and notice that for some reason, you start the day using old, weak words again. You could have a busy week, a small failure, or a big worry, and suddenly "can't," "maybe," or "later" slips back into your thinking. This is normal. No new habit is perfect from the beginning. Making mistakes does not mean you have failed or lost your progress. Every person will face setbacks. Life can become busy, stressful, or surprising. Old ways of thinking might feel comfortable. You might use weak language in a hurry, or you might not even notice until later. If this happens to you, remind yourself, this is part of learning. Progress in building strong habits does not move in a straight line. It goes forward, it pauses, and sometimes it goes backward for a little while. When you notice that you have gone back to your old habits, the first step is acceptance. Be gentle with yourself. Do not use strong words to hurt yourself, like "I should know better," or "Why do I always fail?" Instead, pause and take a deep breath. Say quietly, "I made a mistake today." That is allowed. By accepting setbacks without judgment, you make it easier to return to your new habits. You can use these moments as learning points. Every time you notice yourself slipping back into weak words, ask yourself what happened. Maybe you were very tired. Maybe you felt afraid or unsure. Maybe you were rushing and did not stop to think. These patterns are important to see. When you know what causes you to slip, you can plan for it next time. It is helpful to have a small plan for when you notice weak habits returning. Some people use small reminders, such as writing strong words on paper and placing them where they can be seen. Others set gentle alarms on their phone with a simple message like, "Remember your strong words. Find what works for you." The most important thing is to bring your attention back to your good habits, even after a slip. Some days it will be easy to return. You notice a weak word, pause, and immediately use a strong one in its place. You feel proud, and the day moves forward with confidence. Other days, you might need to try a few times before you get back to your strong habit. Sometimes the whole day passes, and only at night do you see what happened. That is also part of the process. Each new chance to use better words is important, no matter when it comes. It is also normal to feel frustrated when old habits come back. You might feel like all your progress is gone. But habits do not simply disappear with one mistake. They are built with hundreds or thousands of choices. One weak word does not remove your stronger self. Each strong choice you made is still there, waiting for you to begin again. You can treat yourself like a kind teacher would treat a student. Imagine you are teaching a young person how to ride a bicycle or read new words. When they fall or say the wrong thing, you do not shout or give up. You gently guide them, encourage them, and help them try again. You can be this same gentle friend to yourself. When you see that you are having a difficult day or week, remember the steps you have learned. Pause, breathe, and repeat a strong word, even if you do not feel like it in the moment. Sometimes acting first helps your mind follow. Say, "I will try," or "I can do one step now." Small steps are enough. Every small choice leads back to your habit. If you have someone you trust, talk to them about your struggle. Sometimes telling a friend, family member, or mentor makes it easier to start again. Ask them for gentle reminders or even just a listening ear. You do not have to handle setbacks alone. Kind words from others can help you remember to be kind to yourself. Some setbacks come from outside you. Maybe someone around you uses weak words, and you start to copy them out of habit. Maybe your workplace, school, or family feels negative or full of excuses. If you notice this, remember your words are still in your control. You cannot change every outside influence, but you can always choose your next word, even if your environment is not helpful. In these times, even one strong word is a victory. You can whisper, "Now," when you want to wait. You can tell yourself, "I choose to act," when everyone else is saying, "maybe." Each effort counts, especially in harder moments. Setting a simple routine after a setback can help you find your way back faster. For example, you might choose 3 times in the day, morning, afternoon, and evening, to pause, check your words, and choose a strong one for the next task. If you forget at one time, try again at the next. With each small return, the pattern gets stronger. Sometimes you may have a good run, following your new habit for many days or weeks, and then one bad day happens. The voice of old doubts becomes louder. You may wonder if strong language really works. Remember that these feelings are temporary. They are just part of the mind's way of resisting change. Your progress is not measured by never making mistakes, but by how often you return to your new habit. Use this simple phrase: begin again. Every morning, every hour, even every minute, you can decide to choose better words. This power is always available to you. Even if you slip 50 times in one day, each return is a success. By starting again, you show your mind that you are someone who always tries, even if the path is not perfect. Notice how your body feels when you use weak words. Usually, the body may feel tight or heavy. When you change a word to something stronger, see if your shoulders, your breath, or your face changes. The mind and the body are always talking to each other. Changing words often changes the body as well, which makes it easier to continue with your new pattern. If you like, use writing to help you process setbacks. Each night, write down one moment when you slipped and one moment when you returned. You might see that you return more quickly each time. This is real growth. Over time, your list of strong moments grows longer, and your weak moments grow fewer. It is also possible that your setbacks will change over time. At first, you struggled with words like can't or later. Later, you may see yourself struggling with new words or new worries. This is part of growth. Life always gives new challenges. The way you use your language will keep growing as you practice in different situations. If you struggle in one area of life, like work or sports or relationships, focus on that area for a few days. Notice what words come up. Choose just one strong word to use there. You may find that progress in one small area helps change other parts of your life as well. Do not be afraid to ask for help if needed. There may be times when negative thoughts feel too strong, or you feel unable to choose better words. Sometimes talking to a coach, counselor, or therapist is helpful. Asking for help is another way to use strong language. Saying, "I need help," is a powerful and positive statement. Setbacks can also remind you of your progress. After a mistake, when you return to your strong habit, look at how far you have come. Remember the first day you started this practice. Remember how it felt in the early weeks. You are stronger now than you were before. Every setback is a reminder of your courage to try again. If you need, use simple acts to support your return. Drink water, take a short walk, listen to music, or rest for a moment. The mind works better when the body is calm and cared for. Self-care helps you begin again with stronger words and more patience. You can reward yourself for coming back to your habit, even in small ways. Maybe you make a cup of tea after a long day, or watch a short show, or share your win with someone you care about. Celebrate small victories. These help your mind remember that strong habits feel good, not just hard. Remember that everyone, no matter how skilled, has days when habits feel weak and words become old and tired. What makes the biggest difference is not perfect progress, but the gentle promise to keep going. If you practice this for 1 year, 2 years, or even 5 years, you will see that you have become very good at returning to your strong words faster each time. There may be days when you wish progress was quicker or easier. There may be moments when you want to give up. If this happens, stop, breathe, and remember your reasons for changing your words. You wanted more action, more peace, more trust in yourself. These reasons are still true, even on hard days. Motivation can return at surprising times. One kind word, a good night of sleep, or a new day can give you the energy to start again. Your habit is always waiting for you, and you are always allowed to return. There is no final mistake that takes away your power to use strong words. You can always come back, you can always begin again. This truth brings hope. No day is wasted, no setback is forever. When setbacks are very difficult, focus on just one thing at a time. Pick one word like now, try, or yes. Use it as your guide for 1 hour or 1 morning. Each use of this word is a step out of the setback. The more you repeat it, the more your habit returns. If you ever lose faith, remember that progress in language and life is slow for almost everyone. Every strong habit is made this way, with patience, kindness, and the willingness to try again after a fall. As you rebuild your habit after a hard day or week, pay attention to what helps you return. Is it a certain place, time, or person? Use these tools on more difficult days. Build safety and support into your routine. If you find yourself supporting others who are struggling, share your story. Let them know that you also face setbacks. Share how you return and what helps. Offer gentle encouragement, never judgment. When you lift someone else, you lift your own spirit too. Each month, take a quiet moment to thank yourself for not giving up, even when it was hard. Look back at the words you changed, at the times you chose action over waiting. You have proof now that you can keep going, no matter what happens. Practice, patience, and kindness to yourself are the keys to staying with your strong language routine. Use them whenever you need, as often as you need. Remember that the road does not need to be perfect. It only needs you to keep coming back, again and again, choosing strong words to guide you. Your growth is real. Your words are your own. Your ability to begin again, even after setbacks, makes you stronger, calmer, and more ready for all that life brings. Each time you come back from a difficult day and choose strong words again, you are teaching your mind something important. You are showing yourself that change is possible, even when the road is not straight or simple. This practice becomes one of the most helpful and lasting skills you can ever learn. It is gentle but powerful. The words you choose every single day create a real difference, not just in your feelings, but in your actions, your habits, and the quality of your whole life. When you continue to use strong, positive words, you start to see the benefits everywhere. Your confidence grows. You feel more sure of yourself when you try new things. You do not hide from challenges as much. You begin to believe that you can get through hard moments and that you have the ability to keep moving forward, even if you feel unsure for a little while. Over time, strong words help you build trust with yourself. You make a promise to act, and then you act. You notice that the small things you set out to do are finished more often. You clean the dishes, you answer messages, you study for 1 hour, you go for a walk, or you finish your work. These things are small, but with each finished task, you see that you can rely on yourself. Strong words remind you to stay honest, focused, and real. With these new habits, your relationships also change. When you use better words with others, you are more clear and steady. You are less likely to break promises or say maybe when you really mean no. You say yes to plans that match your real wishes and goals. You say no when something is not what you want. This makes it easier for people to trust you, and it feels easier for you to trust others too. You become a person who brings steady energy and good hope into your group of friends, your work, or your family. When others doubt themselves, you can give them a kind word because you know what a difference one word can make. People notice the calm in your words and the confidence in your choices, even if they cannot say why things feel different. Your motivation becomes more stable through strong words. Instead of waiting for the right feeling to start, you use language to begin. You say to yourself, now or I can try, and this gives you a gentle push. Even on mornings when you feel tired, you know how to encourage yourself and you see that you can do one thing, then another. Motivation is no longer something rare or fragile. It is something you create again and again by using simple, true words. You find that your willpower is stronger. When you need to say yes or no, you can set limits for yourself. You stop when you need to rest. You keep going when you decide it is important. You do not listen as much to the old ideas that told you, I can't, or I will do this later. Your will is shaped by your new language, and your new language is built by practice. As you practice using strong words day after day, your actions and your words begin to fit together. There is less space between what you say inside your mind and what you do with your hands and feet. This gives you a deep feeling of trust. You know that you will show up. Others know it too. This trust makes the hard parts of life easier because you do not waste time doubting your own ability. You also experience less stress. When your words are clear and steady, you avoid the confusion of broken promises and unkept plans. You do not feel so much guilt about what you avoided because you avoid less. Instead of keeping a long list of things for later, you finish things as you go. Your to-do list becomes shorter. You rest more at night because your mind is clean and calm. Your inner life is affected in more ways than you may expect. Worry becomes smaller. You have fewer regrets about what you did not try. You are less angry with yourself for waiting too long. Instead, you feel a quiet pride about trying and acting, even on days that are not perfect or easy. The more you use strong words, the more you will find peace inside yourself. You are also helping the people around you, even when you do not say anything out loud. When you use good language in your own thoughts, you act in a way that others see. You inspire them even if they never tell you. You show that positive change is possible. You become a quiet example of hope. Children, friends, or co-workers who see you will learn from what you do. If they ask for help, you can share the simple idea that changing even one word can make a task easier or a hard day lighter. You do not have to be a teacher to share this. Your life is the lesson. Strong words help you bounce back from hard times faster. You know that it is normal to have struggles. You are not shocked or angry when something is difficult. You know how to accept old habits for a while, and you know how to gently return to your new words and actions. You understand that progress is built from many small days, not from one perfect week. This long life of strong words is also full of patience. Even as 1 month passes, or 6 months or 1 year, you are still learning and practicing. Some weak words might never go away forever. This is not failure. This is just being human. The goal is always growth, not perfection. If you use strong words a little more each week, you are building something real, even if you slip now and then. You start to set bigger goals for yourself, and you do not feel as scared. You know that you will move one step at a time. You say, "I will try," or "I will do my part now." You do not wait for someone else to push you, or for a feeling of perfect readiness. You have learned that you can do hard things simply by choosing clear and hopeful words. Over the years, you may see how much you have changed. When you look back on older days, you see that you used to wait, doubt, or put things off. Now, even when days are busy or rough, you can count on yourself to begin again. This new skill stays with you as you move through school, jobs, families, and friendships. It works in every place, at every age. Strong habits of language help you take care of your health. You are more likely to try a new routine, to go for a short walk when you are tired, or to rest when you know it is needed. You listen to your body and you use words that support well-being. If you notice your thoughts turning harsh or angry, you use a gentle word to calm yourself. The habit of good language also helps your mind. When you catch a negative thought, you have learned to replace it quietly. You build a mind that is more open, less harsh, and more welcoming to new experiences. You become curious and patient instead of fearful or quick to judge yourself. You become better at building and keeping routines. Each strong word is like a note that guides your actions. You start with, "I will get up now," then "I will eat breakfast," then "I will go for a walk," and so on. Even when things do not work out perfectly, you start again. You do not give up because you have taught your mind how to keep moving. This also means you become more creative and flexible. When problems come, you ask yourself what new words could help. You do not stay stuck in "I can't" or "now is not the time." Instead, you look for small steps, you try something different, and you allow yourself to learn. You can see these changes in everything: school, work, family, friendships, and personal dreams. The simple habit of changing a few words changes the path of your whole life. Bit by bit, you become a person who is reliable, active, and strong. Others come to you because your way of living feels safe and full of hope. Even your failures feel different. When something does not work, you say, "I will try again," or "I learned something." You do not blame yourself for being human. You let small mistakes be lessons and you keep moving forward. You also start to give more of yourself to others. Because you have learned to support your own mind, you find it easier to offer help. You show care to a friend when they struggle. You use good words to encourage a child or to comfort a partner. Your energy is shared and you become a helper in the world. With each season and each new year, you have more proof that strong words work. You see it in your projects, your relationships, your health, and your peace. The small daily work of using good language builds a life that feels steady, joyful, and new. This lasting change is available to everyone, not just to a few. No matter your starting point, you can build a better life one word at a time. If you have many worries, or little energy, or lots of old habits, change is still possible. The process is simple but strong. There will always be days that feel hard, and some seasons of life may feel heavy. But your words are a gentle and loyal friend. They are always there, waiting for you to use them with care. Even a single strong word on a dark day makes a difference. If you forget sometimes and return to old habits, that is natural. Each tomorrow is new. Every moment is a chance to speak differently and act differently. The small decision to say "now" or "I will try" is always in your hands. No person needs to be perfect. The truth is that the best changes in life are slow and made of small, steady steps. If you practice using strong, clear language every day, you will see your world open up a little more each season. Share what you learn. If you know someone who is struggling, help without pushing. Offer a word of hope. Listen gently to worries and help them find a better word for their situation. This is a gift, and you have it to give because you changed yourself. Each night, take a quiet moment before sleep. Think of one strong word you used. Remember one thing you started, finished, or tried. Say thank you to yourself for that effort. Then let your mind rest and get ready for a new tomorrow. There is beauty in building a strong life with simple words. These words follow you into every day, every place, and every challenge. By choosing strong words, you shape who you are, what you do, and who you can become. You walk into each day with hope and ability. You greet each problem or gift with the gentle confidence that comes from good habits. Change is always ready for you. Begin with one word. Begin with this moment. Speak kindly to yourself. Trust yourself. Act with care, and let each new word be the step that builds a better, brighter life for you and for everyone around you.